Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Money Matters Top Tips for Success, where each and every day I bring on new business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives and have them share their top tips for success with you. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Chris Chaney on the line, and he's founder and CEO of Chaney Group Holdings. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Adam. Hope your week's going well.
Oh my gosh, and for the listeners, we're recording this on Friday, so I might be a little bit more hyper than usual, and it's Oscars weekend. It's going to be an awesome weekend in Hollywood, so excited about all the festivities. But before, Chris, I want to get into what you're doing specifically at Meadow Road Capital, and the show topic will be, things that you look at or think that are interesting in investing in startups. But before we do that, how about give us an overview of what you do overall with Chaney Group Holdings?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Well, I started the company back in 2008. I've basically had the entrepreneurial itch since college, with a slight detour in the corporate world. Only a detour because I think I'm hardwired to be an entrepreneur. So I had the corporate experience, decided I'm an entrepreneur, realized rather I was. So I started that company in 2008, and it's essentially the overarching, as the name suggests, holdings company for anything and everything that I do, whether it's advising early stage startups, whether it's taking personal investments, which is Meadow Road, or launching my own ventures, since fundamentally I'm an entrepreneur, and that all actually packages together quite nicely. Advising, investing, and then founding. To me, that's the trifecta of business. So CGH was launched back then, and we've been primarily within the sports and entertainment industry. That's been, call it, home for me. And in the last 4 years, I've spent a significant amount of time within esports and gaming, which are really two hot areas that are obviously receiving increasingly mainstream attention, and they're both exciting spaces to be in.
I would say the word exciting is an understatement. I think about the things that are happening in esports. I mean, Riot Games has this huge thing they're doing now over here. And I mean, you look at the numbers and the amount of revenue that's being generated. It's just such an interesting place to play in, quite literally and figuratively speaking, especially as an investor. So that being said, let's transition a little bit into what you're doing over at Meadow Road, and then
Sure.
also kind of and let's start there, and then I want to get into what you think makes investments or working with these startups interesting. So, I mean, what makes this one something that's worth your time versus not?
Sure. Yeah. Well, so for me, again, fundamentally, I'm an entrepreneur, and with that, when I work with startups and whether I advise or invest, I like to be early stage. In some cases, I've gotten involved in startups that are literally just a PowerPoint presentation. There's no company set up. There's maybe just one guy.
You're talking early. You're talking early.
Yeah, really early. And for me, the reason why I like being early is because I feel that I can have a bigger impact and be part of this, call it entrepreneurial journey, and a journey that I've been on for a long time and that I like to join others on. And so at that early stage, I think for me, I believe in the people, right? And so, we have conversations and meet in person and do that stuff. And, if I like just at a base level, if I like the people, then there's a high chance that at least I'll, take another look and that it might, pique my interest. And then, of course, I have to like the industry or believe that what this group or what this individual is looking to build has the opportunity to be successful. But again, it could be a PowerPoint presentation. It better be a good one. But it could just be that, and I can totally get behind it. As a matter of fact, that's what I recently did. I backed a startup that was in the truly formative stages, wasn't even set up as an LLC yet, but I liked what they were building or wanting to build, and I decided to back them, and I've backed them for the last few months, and they're already seeing some really good traction. But it's the team that I believe in, plus then the industry and their opportunity to build something. And so people are that fundamental, that key ingredient that I think allow a startup to be successful, in addition to, yes, being in the right industry and having the right external dynamics. But if it's not the right team, then you can, good ideas are deep, right? But it's the people and the execution that allow good ideas to flourish, and where you're able to build good businesses. So that's the first thing, the fundamental thing that I look at. But generally, early stage investing, and from an investor's perspective, that's where I can also see the most upside, because the later you get, obviously, the bigger the checks and the higher the valuations, and that you have to put a lot more into a single startup to maybe get the kind of equity that I would be looking for. Of course, later stage, the risk keeps going down, right? The further along a company gets, that risk decreases. But I love the early stage risk. It's exciting, it's fun, and last point that I'll make is in that process, I'm also building relationships with the founders. So I believe in the founders. I do want them to be successful, and I'm betting that they will be successful, and I'll help them be successful as much as I can. But if they're not, then I know they're great founders. They'll go on to do something else, and then that might be successful. Or the next thing after that might be successful. But I think it takes a particular kind of person to build a successful company. So if I believe I found that person, yes, I'd like it to be that specific venture that I invested in, but it may very well be 2 or 3 ventures after that. But I believe in the person, and I'll keep moving along with them. At least that's the belief that I have, because I believe in them. And so I'll join them hopefully on their subsequent entrepreneurial journeys.
Wow, that's amazing. What a great take. So, Chris, that being said, if somebody's listening to this, first off, I can talk to you about this all day long. But we about ran out of time. I have like 50 more questions for you, but we're not going to be able to get them all today. Don't worry, you're going to get invited to a reunion episode. I can already see it. But that being said, if somebody's listening to this, Chris, and they want more information on just connecting with you to see what kind of projects you're working on or what you think's interesting, what's the best way for them to follow you?
LinkedIn is probably the easiest way to connect. I do list a lot of the things I'm working on my LinkedIn profile directly, which anyone can check out. And so it's easy to find me on there. It's just linkedin.com/ I think it's IN/Chris Chaney. So it's easy enough to find me on there. Feel free to connect. I've pretty much, unless you're trying to, sell me something highly dubious, I'm probably going to connect with you. But so no male enhancement pills or anything like that. Pass. But no, jokes aside, I'm on LinkedIn, and I list a lot of the stuff that I do on there. Certainly not everything. Always eager to connect with folks doing interesting things. And what I'll also say along those lines is that, as much as my expertise and my experiences have been in sports and entertainment and within that in esports and gaming most recently, I'm looking at anime, and a digital transformation, industrial Internet of Things, consumer products, social marketplaces. There's a sport. I'm looking at it. At an automated pizza kitchen concept, at a global membership club, a company that creates CGI characters, a digital aquarium tour. I mean, it's quite diverse, and I just love working with entrepreneurs that I think are, really onto something, that I think have what it takes to be successful. And the industry really, at the end of the day, to me, doesn't really matter. Like it doesn't. I'll look at, I'll look at everything. And if you're talking about, how to optimize senior citizens' homes, I'll look at it. I will, and an interesting area of opportunity as well. So I'm pretty industry agnostic, I guess.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Chris, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great work you're doing for your entrepreneurs. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value in this. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Money Matters Top Tips, don't forget, give us a like and all that good stuff. But we want to keep the conversation going, so leave some comments on the video. Be part of our community. Love to talk with you and engage there. And Chris, thanks again for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me again, Adam.